Okay, y'all. So today we're going to be reviewing, recapping, talking about, however you want to say it, episode 3 of King's Court. Okay, so let's jump right into it. At the very beginning of the episode, the ladies were talking about the other ladies walking out from the previous episode, and they're talking about they're not going to miss them. They're saying the other ladies were probably just scared of competition. So basically, good riddance to them. Now they have the men to themselves, basically. Um, then of course it pans to the four new queens coming in. Okay, four new girls entering the mansion for the kings. The Peets took them to a wrestling ring where the girls were introduced, and of course, because Thaddeus, he's the resident wrestler. He kind of get to show off his skills as Titus O'Neil. Okay, that's his alias. He kind of get to show off his skills to the ladies as they were coming in. And the four ladies, they were Catherine, who's 50. She's a cybersecurity expert from Detroit, Michigan. Then she had curly hair. Then there's Denitra. She's 35 years old. She's an account manager, and she's from Cummings, Georgia. And then there was Demi, and she said her full name. It's an African name. She says she's Nigerian. She's 34 years old. She's a singer and a producer from Georgia, Atlanta. And during the episode, she did mention to someone that she is living in New York now, but they introduced her as being from Atlanta, Georgia. And then there is Terry. She's 37 years old, and she's a model, and she's also from Georgia. And she had more of the shorter cut, like the shorter kind of buzz cut hairstyle. All very beautiful ladies. So the ladies, they all had to kind of create an alias for themselves to show off to the men, and that's how they were gonna get to be like who was gonna get chosen for that first group date. And of course, they all chose like really cool names and really cool outfits. They all look nice. They all look nice in their outfits. Terry, though, when she came out in her outfit, she's the model. She almost fell. And you could tell she's a model because she did a really good save. She walked out in like a dominatrix type of outfit, and she was walking and walking, and all of a sudden she's like, but she saved it. She saved it. And I'm like, I would never have been able to save it. Even Carlos was like, oh, she did that. she saved that move. so, they all chose a date. They all chose somebody for their first person for their group date. Tyson chose Catherine. She is the older lady, and I call her the older lady because she's older than the majority of the women there. So far she's been the oldest one. They've all been kind of in their 30s or early 40s. She's the only one that's 50. So he chose her. She went by the Electra. That was her. That was her alter ego. And then Thaddeus, he chose Denitra. She's the account manager from Cummings, Georgia. She went by Serenity. That was her. That was her name. And then of course Carlos chose the Feline Fatale, and she came in like a little cat suit or whatever. He chose Demi, and that was her name. And Demi, of course, is the singer from Georgia who's now living in New York. So after that, they all went to the mixer like they usually do. They usually do that, and then they all go to the mixer where they call in the other ladies to come and kind of join them, because at the mixer, that's where they choose like the other two ladies that they want to join the first lady on the group dates. Okay, because they usually take 3 women on these group dates. So they went to the mixer, and they all were doing their thing at the mixer, meeting, greeting, whatever. So at the mixer, Tyson chose Felicia, because she came back, Felicia as his second date, and he also chose Liliana, and that was the Spanish chick that he had liked from. She's one of the OG ladies from before. He chose Liliana as his third person. So those were the ladies that he chose for his date. And then, of course, Thaddeus, he chose Brianna because Carlos had recommended him. Carlos had told him, maybe choose Brianna. I think he would kind of get along with her really well because he thought their personality would kind of mesh well together. So he chose Brianna as his second date. And then, of course, he chose Ariana, which, if y'all remember, she's the lady with the I called it the wild hair, but she's a doctor. She's a doctor of physical therapy, and she's very physically fit. She had the mesh suit, and she was like from last week, the second set of ladies that came in from last week. He chose her as his third date. And then who I was it, Tyson, Thaddeus, and then Carlos, he chose Dr. Shawana as his second date person. And Steph, he chose her as his third date person. These women are all very different. So I'm like, interesting. And if you remember, Dr. Shawana was who Thaddeus was like really into last time. And of course, Steph, she was one of the newer ladies from last week. And she was like, I thought she looked like a basketball player because, she's an entrepreneur from Atlanta. And she definitely, from last week, if y'all remember, I said she looked like a basketball player to me, like when she looked fit as well. So he chose her as his group date. And I don't know, Thaddeus didn't choose Dr. Shawana because he thought that she was being standoffish. But she actually mentioned that she thought he was being a little, he had taken a step back, and she felt like maybe it's because of the conversation from last week where, he had told her she was being aggressive, and she had, kind of checked him on that. So she thought that maybe that was the case where he's not really talking to her. So after that, I guess then the next day, the ladies, they kind of moved into the to the house to be with the king. The new ladies, the 4 new ladies, they moved in the next day to be with the king. And the ladies, the guys had to call them over to be like, hey, come and greet the new ladies that are going to be moving in. Now, these are a lot of ladies now, y'all, okay? Because I'm thinking, I have a bad memory, like bad memory. So I don't know how I would even keep track of all these women. So good luck to these men, because it's hard keeping track. And I'm writing down the names, and I'm still like, who are you again? Who are you again? Because we don't get to see, unless these ladies are being like showcased in a way where they're standing out, you're not really seeing all these women. And now there's a lot of women moved into the house. The first set of ladies, there were 7 of them. Second set, there was, I think, another 7 or so, or was it 6? And now there's 4 more. So there's a lot of women in this house. So I can't wait till we get to like the later episodes where there's some of them gone, and we can just concentrate on the ones that we know. Okay, because this is a lot of women to keep track of. But of course, Tyson was loving this. Okay, this man, he loved women. Okay, which is good. But yeah, he was loving this. The women, as they were moving in, his eyes lit up like a kid in a candy store. You could tell he was just excited. He's like, yes, more women. This man did not know what to do with himself, okay? And of course, Carlos had a conversation with Janae where he told her, I'd rather be on a date with you than going on a date with these 3 other ladies, and I'm going to miss you on this date. And I'm like, aw, like he's really feeling her still, okay? And the reason why he didn't choose Janae for the date was because 4 of the ladies had stayed back because they were actually sick. So they didn't actually go to the mixer, the original mixer where they got to choose the ladies for the group date. So Janae wasn't there, so he couldn't choose her for a group date. That's the reason why she was not chosen to go on one of these group dates. And so on to the dates. So for the dates that day, Thaddeus, he had a bowling date. And this was really interesting, honestly, because their bowling date was very different. And maybe because the show is taking place in Atlanta, so maybe this is something popular in Atlanta, but they had like bowling pins, and they use a football, an American football. They actually use a football to kind of hit the bowling pins with. Okay, so that's very different to me. So that was a different concept, and I thought that was cool. It's interesting. It's a different spin on bowling. Okay, So he took them on that date. And, you know, he expressed that he does like competitive and athletic women. And all the women that he chose for that date, they were competitive, and they, you know, they looked very athletic. Um, so on his date, what did he say? He was happy he took Brianna as his connection on his date because he actually felt like a good connection with her. You know, he said, wow, like, I'm actually glad I took her, you know, because before he was basically focused on Dr. Shawana mostly, okay? So it's good when they mix up because sometimes you never know what you like, you know. He may not have realized that, you know, Brianna is somebody that he could, because Brianna, she's one of them tall, she's a taller, and she expressed that. She's like, I'm a taller woman. I'll never be like, you know, a little woman, you know. And I really, she's so cute. She's like, I'll never be. So he was like, he put his hands on her shoulder. He was like, I've never been able to do this with another woman because she was so tall. Well, and I was like, don't do that, you know. She may be tall, but she's still feminine and beautiful, and you want to make her feel as such. So don't do that like she's one of the homies. Even though she may not mind, don't start off that way, you know. But whatever. I mean, when I say one of the homies, you want to be one of the homies, but not in that way. You don't want to, you know, you don't want to be pushed and shoved and do all that with when you're trying to be a feminine romantic in a situation like that. Not in that situation. That's what I meant. So that was Thaddeus's date. Tyson's date, he did like a break dancing date. And of course, he took, for his breakdancing date, what was the ladies' names again that Tyson's ladies were, he took Felicia and Liliana, and Catherine, Teresa, Liliana, and Catherine. So on his breakdancing date. And of course, Catherine, she mentioned something. She's like, after her divorce, I guess she got lots of marriage proposal. And I was like, dang, like, there's something in your sauce. So it has so many marriage proposal. I was like, that's what's up. I was like, you don't need to show that. You don't need to come on this show. You know, you seem to have your pick of the litter, so to speak. But I thought that was interesting. Some women, I just got the sauce. They're able to get lots of, you know, marriage proposal. And I guess that was one, you know, a thing for her to share with, you know, everyone. And on his date, you know, he also talked about, and even in some of this stuff, they do it during the day and in the confessional. So when I'm talking, sometimes it's during the day time frame when they have like confessionals. So some things he say in a confessional, something he say straight to them, to their face as, you know, the dates are progressing. So I know during these dates, he had mentioned that he had like a 25-year-old son. And I was like, I didn't know that. You know, I don't know much about, you know, a lot of people, like a lot of celebrities. There's some people that, you know, oh, they have this kid or they were married to this person. I never even knew he had a child. I thought he's just been like a bachelor without a kid for a long time. But he has a 25-year-old son. And I'm like, I wonder how his son looks. You know, I wonder if he got some of his daddy's genes, you know. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know if his son has a private life. I don't know if his son even lives in the U.S. or where his son is, or I don't know. But I wonder if his son is a model, you know, good looking chap like he is. He's 25, okay? But he does say he wanted more children. And I know Catherine, she was like, she's done having kids. And he's looking at her like, yeah, I can, you know, she's done having kids. So for him, he may actually want to go with a younger woman. And there's plenty of them there, you know, younger in terms of in their 30s, not like all these women are in their 30s or 40s, okay? Yeah, I didn't see any that were in their 20s, actually. Like, from even previous episodes, I didn't see any that were, I feel like they all were. Steph looked a little younger. She looked a little younger, but I don't remember her age, how old Steph was. Steph is 36. It looked like a baby. But yeah, so he says, yeah, that he wanted more children. So I guess that's not something that Katrin is probably going to be doing anytime soon. And one of the ladies, I don't know, I caught it. She got a little catty about Catherine. And I was like, you didn't have to do all that because Catherine looked good. She was older, but she looked good. She was like, oh, this break dancing is, it fits it. It's like in her. It's like it fits her age group, like it's right up her alley because she was around back in those days. So I was like, come on, she's only 50. Let's be real. Like she's only 50 years old. Stop it. And it's breakdancing. Like, stop it. But sometimes they're just gonna get catty in situations like this. And then, the sun is going down. It's taken away from my good lighting here. I can tell because I was like, oh, everything's kind of changed a little bit, but that's okay. Then Carlos, he took his dates on a golfing on a golfing date. Okay. And of course he talked about, he was missing Janae. He did say he appreciated some of the ladies flirting with them and all that stuff, but his focus was basically like, I'm missing Janae, wish she was on this date, whatever. And that's cute. That's cute. So now, back at the house, of course, the ladies, I guess they were having, this was a really weird, like, situation or a weird conversation, actually. Because I was like, I didn't get the point. I'm like, maybe the producers or whatever, maybe we missed something, or maybe this lady just like making trouble. I don't know, one of the newer ladies. I was like, does she just like making trouble, or does she just like talking stuff, or just like saying things, or maybe she just like to get a rise out of people. I don't know. She's just has a flair for the dramatics, okay? And I guess they were at the house, and I guess they were sitting by the pool. It was like Janae, Sarah, and Janae, Tari, Sarah, and there was another lady off to the side. I don't remember her name. Like I said, there's so many of them, but she was just in the shot every now and then. She didn't speak at all. But they were sitting by the pool. They were having a conversation about dating multiple men, and Sarah was talking about how she, is interested in Tyson, and she kind of dated a singer before. She's dated basically someone in the limelight before, and it didn't go the way she thought, so she don't know if she, and it was a singer. And of course in the confessionals they asked, you want to say who it is, and she's like, no, she doesn't want to say who it is. And I think I saw something online, I didn't click on it, that says she was on another reality show, but I didn't really click on it because I don't remember her, because I've seen that reality show and I'm like, I don't remember you on it, but maybe she was briefly. But she was basically having a conversation, dating multiple men, and the same conversations a lot of them have, like being the one to chase and, trying to split attention. And then she's talking about being around a whole bunch of women and how, they get, and how a lot of them have attitudes. And of course, Tari jumped in and she was like, what'd she say? She was like, you have an attitude. I was like, that's what she was saying back to Sarah. And I'm just like, that's kind of like out of left field. Like, that's like, she was just expressing herself, like, and Sarah was just a little taken aback. Like, I thought we were having like an open conversation. She was like, well, you have an attitude. Like, we all have attitudes. We're all women have attitudes. And I was like, I don't think that's what she meant. I think she's specifically relating it to people getting attitudes and being catty out of nowhere. I think that's what she meant, when she was talking. And maybe the sun's coming back up. Good. See? Yeah, maybe it just went down for a second. But yeah. Oh, yes. Good lighting. But yeah, I was just like, what are you talking about? I was like, it was very weird. And she was just like, yeah, we all have attitudes. You have attitude. And I'm just like, girl, calm down. It's so strange. So then I guess Tyson, because I guess he had maybe come back from his date a little early, so he was there with the ladies. And so then he decided that he was going to take a cold bath. He was like, cold bath challenge. I was like, there was an ice bath. I guess, I don't know. It was just an ice bath out of nowhere. Where does ice bath come from? So then he got in the ice bath, and then he asked the ladies, ice bath challenge, you want to join me? And of course, some of the ladies did decide to go join him, including Terry, the one that was just telling people they have attitudes. Out of nowhere. And then she was in the bathroom. She started making these weird noises like, ah, ah, ah. And you're just like, girl, what are you doing? Even Janae was like, ma'am, is that is that really necessary? I was like, this girl, I can tell this Tari is gonna be trouble, okay? She's a little extra. She's a little extra. She's just doing too much. So you can tell she's gonna be trouble by the way she talks and the way she acts and just doing all that. Oh Lord. But anyways, and then I guess Thaddeus had come back from his date, and then he saw Tyson in the hot. Now they moved to the hot tub, from the cold bath to the hot tub. He had seen Tyson in the hot tub surrounded by a whole bunch of women, just doing all this stuff in the hot tub, and he was like, "It's like, what did I come home to? This is like the Black Hugh Hefner." Like, what is going on? And then he made a good point. He was like, Tyson, he needs to slow down a little bit. He needs to kind of slow his roll, because you can tell he just get excited around these women. He's just like, he's a literal kid in a candy store. Like like you can see it. It's like he gets so excited being around so many women. So he was like, yeah, he needs to calm down. He needs to start taking this process seriously, so that these women can take him seriously. And he's right, like, these women are in their 30s and 40s and 50s. Like, they're not here to do this and play around and, mess about. They're trying to find love. Okay. Yeah, there may be a few people that, as with anything, there may be a few people that know when you come on any type of reality show. Like, let's be real, you come on a reality show, a lot of times it's for exposure, because especially a dating reality show, we all know, like, there's different ways to date, right? You don't have to go on a reality show to date, but it's a fun experience. So who wouldn't really do it? Like, if you're not shy or anything and you haven't been on a date in a while, and whatever the case may be, it's a fun experience. Just try it. It may work. You might find somebody, you may not. If not, you just had an experience that you can tell your family and friends and your future kids about. Like, hey, I did this reality show once and blah, 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 blah. So there's people that do it for that reason. There's people that do it, they want exposure. They have a business, and it's national TV. It may be a business reason. Or, there's some people are seeking fame. Like, hey, I'm seeking fame. Or they may want to date a star. Like, these men are stars, so they may want to date a star. There's different reasons, but at the end of the day, it's still a dating reality show. So you never know what people's true intentions are, but sometimes you can see it. Sometimes you can see the real for real. Like, I can see Janae wants somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could see that she wants love in her life. Like, you can see some of these people, like, I can see Dr. Ariana, is that her name? I have to try to remember. Ariel, I'm sorry. I can see Dr. Ariel from Houston that I like. I can see she actually wants to find love. You can tell some of these people, they want to find love. Dr. Shawana, she wants to find love. Liliana, she wants to find. You can see some of these things in certain people, and then other people you're kind of like, like, I wonder, and they may want to find love and boost their business and boost their online presence and their online profiles and boost that. Why not? Why not? It's an opportunity is an opportunity, but don't play with people. Don't play with people and their feelings. Okay. So whatever the case may be. So Tyson, nobody would want no one to play with their feelings. These women are here to find love. You're here to find love. Nobody wants to be played with. Okay. So of course they did, they invited 3 ladies to the elimination mixer. So the elimination mixer is where they kind of, again, just talk to the ladies, give them one last chance to kind of prove, like, why are you here? Why you want me? Like, what's the real? Like, tell me, because you're gonna go home. So this is the time when you can actually be real with me. Either ways, okay? So it was Catherine, which I was surprised. She was one of the newer ladies, the one who's 50. There's Catherine, and then there is Dr. Shawana, and then there is Liliana, okay? So Catherine, Dr. Shawana, and Liliana. So at the mixer, I know Liliana was talking to Tyson And she was trying to figure out, like, why am I here? Like, I thought we had a connection, like, what's going on? And he was basically expressing to her, like, I have a tough time having conversation, like having difficult conversation with people. And she was like, what? You can talk to me, like, you can express yourself. Even she saw that it was difficult for him as well. She was like, you can talk to me, you're able to express yourself with me. And he was like, yeah, it's difficult for me to talk. Like, I don't want to talk about this right now. Like, you're at the elimination mixer. Like, we need to talk about this. Why am I here? Why do you want to get rid of me? Like, tell me, sir. Like, what are you talking about? Even in his confessional, he even admit, because in the confessional they ask, he's like, yeah, I've ghosted people because it's hard for me to have tough conversation with people, so I'll just disappear. And I'm like, Tyson, you are a grown man. Stop it. Like, you are a grown man. I was like, you're a grown man. Stop it. Okay? I'm like, how are you afraid to have a conversation with people, have a conversation with women, and you ghost them? To me, I was just like, that's a red flag. That's a definite red flag. Like, it's telling me, like, you may not be ready, because from his behavior, and again, he gets excited about lots of women and he wants to be around lots of women and all this, and that's cool. But to me, I'm like, that's not a man that's ready to settle down with one woman. That's a man who is ready to enjoy a bachelor lifestyle, which is okay, but that's not what this show is for. This show is for you to come and find one. So out of many, there is one. Find the one. Okay? So yeah, that's a definitely red flag. It's basically saying he's not, he may himself, even though he's one of the kings, he may not be there for the right reasons. I don't know. That's what I'm getting right now. Okay? But yeah, so tell me what y'all think. Tell me what y'all think. The episode wasn't like super exciting, but it wasn't super boring either. It was a pretty good episode. But yeah, let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think of these ladies, Tyson not being ready, Dr. Shawana and the Thaddeus situation. Just let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.